Welcome today to Global HSE Inspiring Leaders interviews. Today we are welcoming Tekin KUNT from PSRG, GR and RG, sorry. And we will discuss about process safety and new technologies about this sector. I want to tell about our interviews. We bring together globally influential authors, influencers, execution presidents, politicians, and professional leaders in field of HSE, and we keep the pulse of world agenda. We listen both their success and failures as a good leader and the work they plan for the future. Also in global way. So international HSE talks and inspiring HSE leaders projects were nominated by British Safety Council for the Health, Safety and Wellbeing Ambassador of the Year Award and James Tye Awards categories. Thank you very much for joining today and making these interviews valuable for everybody. And I want to also thanks to Tekin KUNT for joining and sharing their experience today with us. Welcome, Tekin.
Thank you, Vedat. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Great to hear your show is running for some awards now. I'll be happy to contribute and talk to you about different topics and hopefully provide value to our audience. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Also, I want to say that we will make some submits around the world with our HSE leaders and with the other leaders to discuss about the future of our sectors, and this will be more useful for all the leaders to coming together. I want to also inform you about that. And I want to start with my first question, the simple question. Could you please introduce yourself, dear Tekin?
Thanks, Vedat. It's a simple question, but it's very loaded. So it allows us to either talk chronologically, starting I was born this year here and so on, or move backwards. So it's very interesting to see different cultures, different countries, or different people interpreting that and answering that question. For me, I will be taking that question backwards. So I'm currently the director for EMEA region for PSRG. PSRG stands for Process Safety and Reliability Group. I've been there for 7 years working on process safety. Prior to that, I worked for Weatherford. It's an oil and gas services company. And prior to that, I worked for Chevron and Aspen Technology. I got my Ph.D. in chemical engineering from University of Maryland at College Park in United States of America. Before going to US for studies, I finished Boğaziçi University. I've done a double major in chemical engineering and industrial engineering. So my story goes backwards like that. But the idea is basically I focused on studies initially. I wanted to learn. And then I wanted to do implementations. And now I understand that the people is the most important thing in our business. Back to you, Vedat.
Thank you. And I want to ask, how did you get involved in process safety?
Very good question. Very good question. So all my professional life, after finishing school, by the way, I did a PhD in the field of dynamic modeling and optimization. So what we've done is actually we've modeled chemical sensors to detect different volatile organic compounds. And then that detection could be improved by using better approaches. So we've done that. I've done that. I got a patent on it. Finishing school, I always wanted to improve things, optimization. So all my professional life up until PSRG was about improving production, increasing production. With PSRG, I switched to process safety. You may think that, safety is the boring thing. For me, it's very exciting because when we do production improvements, production optimization, the most important thing I realize now after my 7 years in this company is do those improvements in a safe way. in a sustainable way, and that you can continuously deliver that results, that value. Without process safety, it's not possible for our type of industries where you're dealing with highly hazardous chemicals, big operations, and so on. So how I got into process safety, basically, I was in the career transition, and one opportunity came up, and I followed that opportunity. That led to other things, and I ended up at PSRG in this role. Of course, I had to learn a lot, understand almost a new language, but I was able to do that with my firm background and also my love for people and helping people out.
Yeah, great. And I want to remind our audience that they can prepare their question and ask on YouTube or LinkedIn pages. So they can also follow us on YouTube and Global HSE Leaders page on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining us today to all our audience. And please write your question now, and I will ask the question at the end of this meeting. And my next question, what was the biggest failure you faced in your career, and what lesson did you learn from that experience? Why I am asking this question? Because people sometimes thinking that all the successful people is like a Superman, and these questions maybe will motivate also them to work more on their career.
Very good question, and it's something that we don't face ourselves, let alone people asking us. We need to actually identify failures and work on them, otherwise we will keep repeating them. For me, my failure, actually, I didn't take an active role in managing my career. When I start working, again, just to remind our audience, I started working in 1990s. Yeah. Back in those days, you would go to a company and you would literally retire from that company. It was very common for people to work for a company and retire from that company. Now times have changed. Now it's very much expected that you may be changing your jobs and so on. But I wasn't really thinking about it, and I didn't really think about building myself a good career path. I followed some options, and some of them didn't turn out very well, and it took me some interesting places. But what I learned from those failures, this is failure to plan, failure to manage change, essentially, because when you change jobs, you're actually doing a management of change. We teach about management of change and process safety is one of the most important things. And with it comes risk assessments, as well as, starting safely and building a network so that you can grow from there. So when I learned that, I did a better job, I think, managing my career. But still, I'm a little bit, like to act on a whim of a thing. So it's a little bit personal too. So that's the thing. When you have failures, you will realize that sometimes it's related with you, not with people or environments or other companies or setups. So it's better to understand that and see what you can change with you with the change management so that you can land in a better position. Thanks, Vedat.
Thank you. Thank you for answering this question. And I watched your panel about artificial intelligence in Kocaeli Process Safety Congress in last days. So I want to ask you also here, how do you expect artificial intelligence to impact process safety going forward?
Most undoubtedly, artificial intelligence will impact process safety, not alone process safety, but all our lives. I was part of the panel, as you mentioned, this week, and it was great discussions. And before that, I did a presentation for a large audience in the US, talking about how this AI will impact me as a safety professional. So one question I asked to the audience was this. I asked them, if I tell you AI, artificial intelligence, what comes to your mind? Just write me the first thing coming to your mind. And this was a pop-up basically that people were writing their answers. And what I noticed is that one part of it was really hopeful. Basically, hey, it's improvement, efficiency, automation, so on and so forth. But a lot of responses came back saying, job loss, loss of, work. There were also things, references to some movies that we've seen. You've probably seen them as well, like The Matrix, Skynet, Terminator, those kind of things. So, so for process safety, you can come in a position, say, well, it's really bad for our industry because we're going to lose knowledge. We're going to basically rely on machines to have the knowledge. And as humans, we will be powerless. Or you can come from another position. You can say, hey, this is great. Now I have access to knowledge. Remember, before you were just relying on a few experts in your field. You had to go to those few experts and ask them these questions and try to pick their brain. Now that whole thing disappears with AI. AI actually makes it much more possible for you to access to the knowledge. The question becomes, when you access the knowledge, can you trust it? Is it knowledge that is trustable and reliable and dependable, accurate? So those questions will be answered through time, I believe. What I believe in the case of artificial intelligence in process safety is going to augment our capability. It's going to be like a trusted advisor for us in the field. We will be humans at the end. Humans will be making the decisions, but we will be having somebody said like a right arm. You will have a trusted advisor next to you. How we make that trusted advisor is up to us. So we need to work hard on that. It's not easy. If you ask questions at the moment to ChatGPT, you may get cats and dogs, but that is improving quite a lot. So I'm hopeful for future on AI and process safety.
So I also want to ask a question again about failures. What was the biggest challenge you faced on implementing a groundbreaking innovation in process safety, and how did you overcome it?
That's also a very good question. I don't know if you would call it a groundbreaking innovation or something like that, but we got involved in a project with the AIChE, that's the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. CCPS is the Center for Chemical Process Safety. This is a technology alliance, CCPS, and we as PSRG, we are part of that technology alliance. We were lucky to be selected to write a book for CCPS, and the book was about process safety knowledge management. So that was a very challenging project for us, because once we started the project, pandemic happened, COVID pandemic, and we were not able to travel, meet in person, conduct interviews or workshops. And these books are not written by one person. These are written by a committee basically of many years of experts in the field. They come up with a topic, and they not only come up with that, but also they explain why this is important, and they go in further and they even describe what should be in the book. So as PSRG, we were giving this charter. This was kind of like the bullet points that the book needs to cover, but it was up to us as a company to come in and fill all this knowledge in it. And that was a very challenging project. We worked like 10, 11 people in the company. I was the lucky project manager for this project. So I learned a lot in that process, and I really value knowledge. And the whole book is about how do you take data, turn it into knowledge. In between there's information. So data turning into information, information turning into knowledge. When you look at data coming from different sensors, just the data, information is like you're looking at a process flow diagram or a piping and instrumentation diagram. Sometimes we call PNID. When you look at it, that's information. the knowledge comes in when you bring all these things together and you say, oh, there is this pump moving this chemical from here to here, this temperature here in this reactor, so on and so forth. That's knowledge. And one step beyond.
Are you there? Sorry, maybe there is a connection problem, but we can wait just a little because we talked more before the meeting that it can be happen because of the place, some internet connection because of the company. Dear Tekin? Okay, we need to maybe wait just a little. He will connect again. I want to also tell about our institute. Oh, okay, great. Yes. Where will we continue? You are talking about on your books. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me check first. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah. I'm hearing you. Yes. Great.
Okay.
We can continue.
Excellent. So let me continue. Sorry about that. I lost the connectivity, and I'm back online.
Yeah.
So I was talking about the book that we've written. That was a challenging project for us. It was about process safety knowledge management. There I learned about how to manage knowledge. It's not a simple thing. And it's really all building about a organizational memory and keeping things alive and kicking after you left the organization. So that's really making the knowledge institutional, but also it's about people. How do you make sure that you have a competency plan? How do you make sure that you have a succession plan? And then finally, how you make all these things together. You need a system. You cannot just hope that that's going to happen by itself. You need to work on it. You need to plan for it. So that was a very interesting and challenging project for us, and I learned a lot doing that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great. Thank you very much. And I want to ask my last question. Maybe if is there any question from our audience, we can ask you about this. So, do you have any other recommendation or lessons learned for someone at an early stage in their careers, young colleges?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I think, I have 3 recommendations. Number 1 is learn from others. So that's all about networking. You need to think about like how you can have interfaces, not just with your small environment, small in the sense that limited environment. So you go to school, you go work in place, something like that. You need to think about expanding that scope. That's really important. And learning from others is the best way to actually engage with the people. When you ask questions, people really respond and, come up and talk to you, really. So asking questions, learning from others is number 1, okay? Number 2 is challenging the study code. Challenging study code meaning that you're staying hungry. Challenging study code means that when you come to a place and they tell you, okay, this is how it is done, you may say, okay, I'll go and do it the same way. Or you can say, well, let's see, can we do it better? I've seen it differently in different places. And the reason they bring you to some place sometimes to make that change happen. So, challenge the study code and stay hungry. Stay hungry is something that Steve Jobs was preaching about. I love that. That happens to all of us. We get complacent. The worst thing you can do in process safety is to get complacent. So don't get complacent. And the third one is manage the change. As I mentioned, the change is part of the life. It's going to happen. If you don't stay ahead of it, change will manage you instead of you managing the change. So those are the 3 things: learn from others, stay hungry, and manage the change.
Yeah, I advise to the youngs coming inside our institute, because we have got also mentorship program from the experienced colleges to the youngs. So also we want to make a international event for sectors, especially, for example, for process safety. We will make some trainings, but this trainings is to improve their experience, because without experience, we are not improving ourselves from the books. So if we, you say, as you said, if we change our information, our experience with each other, we can improve ourselves very quickly. All my question I ask you, but maybe if there is there any question, also, how can they connect with you after this interview? Can you explain to them?
Sure. For our audience that would like to connect with me, the simplest way to do that is LinkedIn. Just to give you a backstory on it, I joined LinkedIn back in 2003. Nobody heard about it, nothing. My good friend, he told me like, hey, there is this this thing out there, LinkedIn, you have to go and become a member. So when I became member, you know, it was pretty much like empty space. You may imagine, right? 2003, 20 years ago now, more than 20 years ago. What happened is I quickly realized that people change jobs. I was keeping their business cards. Those business cards become useless. You lose their phone numbers, you lose their emails. All you know is their name. So LinkedIn actually changed that whole game and make you put your stuff in there. Hey, I don't need to fill your card in a system. You're filling it for me, right? Also a big tool for sales, marketing, all that stuff. But for me, it's a big tool for networking. When you try to contact me on LinkedIn, please write a reason, or how you know me, or why you would like to know me, or you would like to get in contact with me. I mean, today I just received a invite from, somebody that I don't know, and that person didn't write a note explaining why they would like to get in touch with me. So I did ignore that one. I don't try to ignore requests, but I also know that there are some bad profiles or fake profiles in the LinkedIn platform that is either trying to sell me something or scam me out. So for that reason, I would like to understand who you are, where you're coming from. The best way to do that is filling your LinkedIn page.
I think so. You are giving a very good advice for LinkedIn, because people need to feel comfortable while they are connecting with each other. So thank you very much for today. We are very happy welcoming you to this section. This is a very valuable times for us. And I want to also thanks to all the audience. They can also ask their question on YouTube, Vedat's YouTube channel on the video, and also in the LinkedIn event. And then we can connect with you for these questions and follow the answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vedat, very much for organizing this, spearheading it, taking leadership. Really appreciate it. It was great for you to connect me with an audience out there, and really appreciate for that. Anything you need, let me know. Thanks.
For future, I believe we can come together more and make some other events for our colleges. It will also improve our future of sectors. Thank you very much.